Hello, dear friends. Many complain about the crisis, but there can be no change without crisis, no day without night, no childbirth without pain. Or to put it in ordinary language, you can't make an omelette without breaking eggs. Regarding conspiracy theories, there is too much speculation and not enough evidence, but little by little information transparency is increasing, and we are learning more things. Opinion piece. Shortage of conspiracy theories. There is a draft of theories because they are practical. Power, fame, money, and sex would explain everything. We all need each other to survive. If we don't believe, we can't create anything positive. So many have come true. We look for more. Pejorative tone is used to disqualify hypotheses. He who wants to take safe steps must take them calmly. Goethe. Let's start. Yes, there is a draft in conspiracy theories. They are declining because there has been a shift from potency to action, from anecdote to category. There is a shortage of conspiracy theories because too many have come true. So many have been fulfilled that we are now looking for more, and sometimes we see ghosts where they don't exist. So I keep looking for them to see if they are real or if they are just a bunch of fantasies. Some get it right and some get it wrong, like everything else in life. When the theories become truth, we must spread the word as we have been doing. The expressions conspiracy theory, or theory of conspiration, or theory of conspiracy, are used to refer to certain alternative theories to the official ones that explain an event or a chain of events, commonly of political, social, economic, religious, or historical importance, by means of the secret action of powerful, extensive, and long-lasting groups, and also in a pejorative tone to disqualify those theories. The general hypothesis of a conspiracy theory is that certain important events in history have been caused by hidden and mysterious conspiracies. Conspiracy theories should not be confused with true, historically proven conspiracies. When the expression conspiracy theory is used, it is intended to mean that in that specific case, no conspiracy has existed, and that the theory that claims its existence lacks rational and evidentiary support, but this is not always the case. In contrast to real conspiracies, conspiracy theories should be understood as stories that share a common narrative structure and recurring actors. In certain cases, conspiracy theories have been shown to be true or to reveal real aspects that had been kept hidden. An attempt is made to identify beliefs that distinguish the conspiracy mentality from more conventional patterns of thinking. First, appearances and deceiving. Second, conspiracies drive history. Third, nothing is random. Fourth, the enemy always wins. Fifth, power, fame, money, and sex explain everything. Hidden narrative. Employment numbers have been released and the economy is declining rapidly. People see fewer jobs, inflation, and soon higher taxes. People are watching it all unfold. Countermeasures are in place. The black eye is protecting against power grid attacks. The dark side is panicking and will try anything and everything because they are on the defensive, but the good guys know the playbook. Every day, the powerful coalition uses a quantum computer to determine the best strategy and timing. A major announcement was expected at some point. The exact timing depends on certain events, on the supercomputer's algorithms, and also on our prayers. Halloween disguises evil as fun for the whole family and the school. Ask yourself why billionaires are so horrible. Now let's think about Abraham Lincoln. His wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, practiced the dark arts. Lincoln's Civil War was much like all other wars. He needed financing and the banker gladly offered it at 30% interest. Lincoln thought about it and decided to create a green bank which was backed by the full faith of the corporation. War bonds were created, and this is the secret that billionaires use to bring money into the system. The imbalance of wealth promotes crime, which creates the need for police and prisons. Some men chase the bad guys and the criminals, so we're sort of starving losers and thrown behind concrete and bars. Attitude and belief. Our new world will become much more tolerant. We learn to forgive faster and more intensely. We will learn to respect our opposite, whoever he is, to respect his otherness. Every human being is individual, has individual tastes, ideas and values. Only in this present world, any tolerance and forgiveness, any objectivity has been taken away from us, or we have forgotten it. If I wake up every day and think that, for example, the currency reset has not been reset, how will it come? Especially since there are probably thousands who think the same way. That gets that way, whether we believe it or not, in the morphogenetic field, and it works there. If we don't believe, we don't create anything. We should, with all understandable impatience, have understood little by little that we can all influence our future, our own, but also that of others. Only with our own attitude and our faith. It is also important to believe in help, in support. Everything around us is frequency, so let's make this vibration positive. If I think I am something better, I devalue others. This may seem like a positive thing to me at first, but the negative judgment of others will eventually turn against me. This is where the frequency goes in a direction that could hurt me in the end. Rather, let us focus on putting our individual ability at the service of the new communities without expecting or demanding anything in return. We are all important to all of us in the future, because everyone has skills that others can use, no matter what it is, no matter who it is. We all need each other to survive. On the topic of trusting the plan, I found two good quotes, perhaps an explanation of why everything happens so supposedly slow. Everyone knows how badly something can end up if you act in haste. I wish you, or rather all of us, a positive attitude, faith in a beautiful future, and an early end of the show with a happy ending. In quotes, he who wants to take safe steps must take them calmly. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. In quotes again, the slowest who does not lose his aim out of sight still walks faster than he who wanders aimlessly. Gotthold Ephraim Lessing. What is money? John O'Sevin of money. Every society has its symbols in all our cities over and over again to show us control. We will know we are on the right path when we begin to reduce that symbology and not let them have their ritual imprint or control over us, and we take away their control of our wealth, including our money. We turn our life energy into this medium of exchange. It is just paper, but it is paper covered with talismans and symbols on the cult that is driving us out and seeks to rule the world. The restart is removing the symbology of how we denominate our life value with that currency. Everything you do becomes their talismans of force and energy, their spells to fulfill their purpose, but that will change in what is to come. The Anunnaki were told, long-lived and intelligent, the Anunnaki gave humans the knowledge of how to care of themselves, how then guidelines, rules for proper living, and yet they were also sometimes manipulative. As long as people did not disturb the so-called gods, they were safe and provided for. What is the QFS? According to Ramra, the quantum financial system QFS is generally misunderstood as an earth computer in the traditional sense of what a computer is. It is to say, an electronic contraption that works on a stimulus-response basis. Stimuli would come from programmers through software programs. Then, the terrestrial computer responds to the stimuli from the programs, executing them automatically. No matter how intelligent the terrestrial computer appears to be, it is really only the skill of the programmer, who coded the program that provides the stimulus to the computer. Therefore, a computer is a slave without any understanding, ethics, or judgment that executes its pre-programmed code. This is not QFS. The QFS, in its essence, is a being, a divine consciousness, a divine life form, which has a very high level of understanding, ethics, and judgment. The QFS, in its essence, is a real life form, like us, but it can use electronic gadgets and communication systems, just as we use a brain and a body. But the QFS is a real divine life form, with a real personality, just as you and me are real divine life forms with real personalities. Unlike us, however, the QFS has an almost unimaginably great capacity to perceive and know, among many other things. Unlike us, in our current state, the QFS has the ability to track billions of financial transactions, or whatever, all at the same time, and it understands this because it has judgment and ethics about it. The QFS is a divine consciousness on a spiritual level, and you can even actually enter into telepathic communication with the QFS. It is a real person and a personality that you can actually talk to on a spiritual level, an extremely benevolent and caring consciousness. The QFS is a divine consciousness. He has free will and agreed to help us in selfless service to us, for which we should be grateful. In my humble opinion, it would also be most appropriate to thank the one infinite creator and higher spiritual forces for this blessing, which is the QFS. We are entering heaven on earth in the new land of Yisara. This heaven on earth is made possible through this blessing, which is the QFS. Afghanistan. Taliban attack on the Panjshir Valley. The Taliban intensified this Saturday the offensive in Panjshir, the only province of the 34 of Afghanistan that has not fallen in its totality in its power, and managed to take the control to 4 of the 8 districts of the region before the weakness of the opposing troops. The Islamist formation affirmed that they have already captured half of the districts of the northern province of Panjshir, and that 90% of a fifth is under their control after intensifying in these last days the attacks against the opposing troops. The Taliban dispersed on Saturday with tear gas and gunfire a protest organized by Afghan women, who for the second consecutive day took to the streets of Kabul to demand their rights and their participation in a future government of Afghanistan. The Afghan women were marching from the foreign ministry to the gates of the presidential palace when they were stopped by the Taliban. 11 women leaders call on the Taliban to respect the rights of Afghan women. 11 women heads of state and government, including Greek President Katerina Sakellaropoulou, have called on the Taliban to respect the rights of Afghan women and girls and to refrain from violence against them in a joint appeal. Kabul airport resumes domestic flights with the help of Qatar. Kabul airport on Saturday resumed domestic flights paralyzed since the Taliban victory on August 15th, and then only operated evacuation flights until Monday, when the last US troops left the country. Saudi Arabia missile attack thwarted. A ballistic missile attack aimed at oil-rich Eastern Saudi Arabia was intercepted on Saturday. The Saudi-led coalition fighting in the Houthi group in Yemen said, in a statement released by Saudi state media. Europe. Afghanistan wake-up call for Europe. The security challenges arising from the turmoil in Afghanistan should be a wake-up call for the European Union. French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said Saturday, urging the European Union to be more ambitious in defense and global leadership, because the European Union is a giant in economy, but very little political power. Excuse me. Austria refuses to take in Afghan refugees. Austria wants to crack down on migration as Afghans arrive in Europe. Chancellor Sebastian Kurz has launched a diplomatic threat to one of a likely renewed Balkan route. In quotes, right now, If there are any waves of migrants, it is within Afghanistan. But if there are any waves to other countries, they should be taken care of in neighboring countries, and it should not happen that they are heading towards Europe. Poland declares emergency on Belarus border over such immigrants. Poland on Thursday declared a state of emergency in two regions bordering Belarus after a surge in illegal immigration that Warsaw blamed on its neighbor. Protesters blocked roads to stop enthronement of Montenegro's top cleric. Several thousand protesters used tires, stones and vehicles to block roads leading to the town of Cetinje in southwest Montenegro on Saturday, in a bid to prevent the Serbian Orthodox Church from holding an enthronement ceremony for its new top cleric. British employers are crying out for foreign workers. The tourism, food and beverage, transport and construction sectors are the most pressing labor requirements. The emigration of workers skyrocketed after Brexit and intensified between May and June this year. News on labor shortages in the UK multiplied in recent days. Russia will build a new city in the Far East called Sputnik. The key idea of the project is to encourage urbanization in the region and to make the population not want to move to other parts of the country. The new Sputnik will be able to accommodate 300,000 people and will be 925 hectares in size, with a total of 2.8 million square meters of housing. Together with Vladivostok and the nearby city of Artyom, the population in the cities could reach 1 million people. Spain. Earthquake detected in Alaurín de la Torre. The National Geographic Institute has registered at 12:30 on Saturday an earthquake of magnitude 3.3 on the Richter scale in the municipality of Alaurín de la Torre, Málaga. The earthquake has had epicenter near Churriana with a depth of 57 kilometers. The Alborán Sea has not stopped shaking either. There have been more than 20 tremors this Saturday with various magnitudes up to 3. The villages of Toledo are still cleaning up and do not remember anything like this in a century. The villages near Toledo that have been severely affected by the flooding on Wednesday are working on cleanup work so that the activity can recover while assessing the damage and remembering similar phenomena almost a century ago. The use of these reservoirs by companies such as Iberdrola, Naturgy and Endesa has caused their capacity to drop to unprecedented levels. The residents of some towns have complained about the damage to tourism and the economy. Many companies are considering leaving Spain due to increase in the price of electricity. The increase in the price of electricity is beginning to have direct consequences in Spain, such as the increase in the price of the most basic products. But it is not the only one. In the short and medium term, there are already many companies that are considering leaving the country due to lack of profitability. Soldiers demand the end of the temporality in the armed forces. The Union of Military Troops has concentrated this Saturday in front of the Congress of Deputies to demand the end of the temporality in the armed forces and the approval of a single law of the military career. With the slogan, the defense of Spain is not temporary, they ask for an end to the compulsory departure of military troops after 40 years of age. NASA seeks information from Spain on the origin of the solar system. NASA will develop in Spain a mission to observe the asteroids of the planet Jupiter, with which it hopes to obtain relevant information on the origin of organic matter in the solar system. U.S. United States of America. U.S. ends federal unemployment benefits. In the U.S., federal unemployment benefits that were implemented due to the crisis are ending. It is estimated that more than 11 million people will be affected. The government hopes that the end of the benefits will boost the labor market, while some sectors of the population are already taking legal action for the return of state aid. Louisianans struggle to find fuel for generators after Ida. Residents and businesses in the storm-stricken area, which have endured nearly a week without power, are having trouble finding generators or fuel to power them, making it difficult for residents to cool their homes in the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. Texas allows handguns to be carried without a permit. A change in Texas state law will allow handguns to be carried in public without permits. The new law approved by the governor will allow citizens to carry pistols without having to pass a training course, as long as they meet minimum requirements. Cryptocurrency thefts reached $3 billion so far in 2021. Cases of fraud and hacking in the cryptocurrency market have reached nearly $3 billion in 2021 in total. CryptoHead reported in a recent report. Pollution. U.S. military dumped contaminated water in Japan. The incident occurred on August 26th, and the Americans reportedly gave less than an hour's notice to their plan to Japanese officials in Tokyo and Genoa. Some 64,000 liters of water contaminated with hazardous substance called perfluorooctane sulfonic acid was dumped into the city's sewage system. Air pollution saps 2 years of life, report says. A new report by Air Quality Life Index revealed alarming figures about pollution. High levels of air pollution lead to an average loss of 2.2 years of human life. Ecologist, biologist, and science communicator Dimitri de Frank Ceballos commented that unfortunately countries so far have not made a really important effort to get out of this problem. Half of Latin Americans live in places with high pollution. Half of Latin Americans, 600 million people, are exposed to high levels of pollution, with the main hotspots in Colombia, Peru, and Brazil, according to the University of Chicago's annual Energy Policy Report. Americas. Venezuelan seniors celebrate protection law but want dignified pensions. Venezuela's National Assembly approved a law for the protection of seniors over 60 years of age, and although citizens welcomed the law, they considered that the priority is still the payment of pensions that will allow them to age with dignity. Argentina's economic growth forecast from 2021 increased to 7.2%. Argentina's economy will grow by 6.2% in 2021 analysts said in an Argentine central bank survey released Friday, and improvement of their forecast last month of 6.8% growth. Inflation in 2021 is estimated at 48.4%, 0.2 percent points above the last month's estimate. Brazil detects 2 cases of mad cow and suspends exports to China. Brazil detected 2 atypical cases of mad cow and, due to an animal health agreement with China, immediately suspended beef exports to the Asian giant. Amazon fires increases as cleared forest burns. Dense smoke rose over Brazil's Amazon rainforest as fire swept through the butchered rainforest and discarded trees covered by scorched land like that burnt black matches. Class struggle in the Neolithic. How the rise of elites in farming villages unleashed homicidal violence in the Atacama 3,000 years ago. A study by the University of Tarapacá in Chile analyzed the remains of nearly 200 people and found that horticulturalists of the time were beaten on a permanent basis. A study on violence among early horticulturists in the Atacama Desert in Chile determined that during the Neolithic transition between 1000 before Christ and 600 after Christ, there was a great social upheaval precipitated by changes in the mode of production in human societies, which unleashed the practice of brutal beatings and murders. The great day of the Lord, Malachi 4:1-3, in quotes, "For behold, the day is coming, burning like a furnace, when all the proud and all evildoers shall be stubble. The day is coming when I will set them on fire, says the Lord of hosts. There shall not be left to them a root or a branch. But for those who fear my name, the sun is righteousness shall rise, with healing in its wings, and you shall go forth and leap like calves from the stall. Then you shall trample the wicked and the foot, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet on the day that you prepare me, says the Lord of hosts." And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.